Hello and welcome to ET Market Smart Talk. Well, I'm your host, Shatajanand, and today we are unpacking the current equity market scenario in India from rate expectations and earning trends to investor sentiment and market flows. Well, joining us to share his insight is Harshit Patwardhan, who's the Chief Investment Officer at Union EMC Private Limited. Harshit, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kshitij. Good to be here. I always enjoy discussing things with you.
Thank you so much for taking the time out. And how should Western headwinds seems to be, they've taken some pace of equity markets recently. How are you reading into the current situation?
I think you are probably being too polite when you say that. Our markets, have obviously not done well. And when you actually look around the world, it tells you how relative to others they have done so badly in terms of underperformance compared to others. So yes, it has been a headwind. I would say it is because of clearly two three things. One, internal, which is that the earnings haven't really progressed over the course of last, I would say, 4 5 quarters now, and we have seen only earning downgrades.
Right.
Second, of course, foreign selling
Hmm.
um, over the last 3 months and before that. So since April, there were 2 3 months when there was a bit of buying from foreigners, but again, last 3 months have been big negative. So that's another headwind. And the
Hmm.
third thing is again internal, is the humongous supply of equity
Right.
within our markets, right?
Yes.
Both
Yes.
growth capital being raised, but I think more importantly, a lot of promoter selling that's
Right.
happening. So if you put it all together, that explains why our markets haven't done well. And clearly, as
Hmm.
you were alluding to, last 2 3 months, the sudden change in the dynamics between India and US on the trade front has really hurt.
Absolutely. Yes, the trade front is something which we can discuss at length. But there's another issue which came up, and which was the H-1B visa. Well, it might not have a large impact on the balance sheet of the IT companies, according to most analysts, but it could be a big sentiment hit. What are your views, and how will it impact sort of the future environment for IT companies?
So you're absolutely right, Kshitij. Compared to last time round when this issue first cropped up, uh, many Indian IT services companies have significantly reduced their
Hmm.
dependence on H-1B visa in particular.
That's right. Yeah.
But if you read this H-1B move in the
Hmm.
context of the overall the relationship between the two countries,
Sure.
it basically tells you that this is a sort of pressure being put on India. Uh,
Exactly. Yeah.
Looks like
Hmm.
definitely, and the timing of it, just when our ministers were there to negotiate. So that's I think classic President Trump style of operations. But
Right.
it is also coming at a very difficult time, I would say, for Indian IT services companies. This kind of a
Hmm.
signal, this itself may not hurt too much in terms of earnings, but
Yeah.
two events. One is the demand scenario, uh,
Hmm.
of customers is not looking very good. It's not in
Right.
great health. In addition to that, the disruption that has come in from AI in
Hmm.
terms of its impact, productivity boost, and therefore the impact on the workforce,
Yes.
that couldn't have come at a worse time for Indian
That's right.
IT services companies. So I would
Hmm.
say net, if you put it all together, the
Hmm.
overall environment for these companies that they operate in is
Hmm.
not very benign at all.
Absolutely. In fact, we've seen this trailer from Accenture, wherein there were quite a bit of job losses that did happen, and that was largely because of the Gen AI or AI companies per se. And obviously, that would also have bearing on the IT company environment in India as well. Uh, Now, yes, from IT companies. Let's also move to the U.S. central bank and the Indian central bank. Yes, U.S. Fed did cut rates. We have an upcoming RBI policy meeting. What are your expectations?
So our expectation at in this policy meeting is that we do not expect a rate cut right now. I
Okay.
know that there are some in the markets, probably in the minority, who do
Hmm.
expect some kind of 25 bips cut, but we do not
Yeah.
expect that in this meeting. We
Right.
believe that it might come in the following meeting.
All right. So no rate cut in the upcoming policy meeting, but the upcoming month is a festive month, and the silver lining for D Street could be the fact that we might close September on a positive note after falling for the past 2 months, although marginally. What are your expectations from the upcoming festive month, October?
So the festive month, in fact, even before October in Navaratri itself, as you know,
Hmm.
it seems to have begun well. It seems to
Hmm.
have begun well, and the context, as all of us know, is immediate GST cuts. That was, I would say, very well timed. I think it was flagged off by the Prime Minister on 15th August, and expectation was that it will come in much later. But I think they
Hmm.
preponed it, and I think that is very well timed. I must say. So sentiment, I think, in certain big segments like auto is very buoyant, and we have seen some news reports that the season has really begun well, and that is
Hmm.
something that frankly we need it because the
Yes.
consumption in general has been so lackluster,
Yeah.
and the managements have been complaining about lack of consumption, particularly in urban areas over the last year or so.
Sure.
So I think this trigger is really helpful.
Hmm.
So our expectation is that the things will look up.
Hmm.
We are looking forward to listening to what the managements have to say in the result season.
Correct.
Clearly, last quarter is not going to be. I don't think there are too many expectations from the previous quarter, July
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
September quarter, but we do expect to hear some positive commentary on the
Correct.
festive season and how the this quarter, October, November, December quarter pans out. So we
Hmm.
might hear some good news, finally, probably in the month of January when the numbers come out.
Absolutely. Management commentary is something which everyone is looking after. But we're talking about earnings. Let me also get your perspective as to earnings. And you did point out that earnings have not been good, and we have seen lackluster kind of earnings for the past 2 months. The government has done its bit to give a GST bonanza. What will be the benefit, or when will that benefit start pouring for companies or India Inc. on the balance sheet? Because most experts say that it could come with a lag. What are your views on that?
Our expectation and GST, of course, is has been very very important. But before that, we shouldn't forget that there was a tax concession also given in the budget to leave more
Sure.
money in the hands of in the pockets of consumers. And it is
Sure.
possible that consumers just having money is not good enough. Your sentiment also has to be buoyant for you to
Yes.
go out and spend, particularly on discretionaries.
Yes.
So that saving would have accumulated over the course of last several months. So
Hmm.
I would say three triggers. One is GST cut, tax cut that happened during the budget, and
Right.
also don't forget the RBI policy rate cuts,
Sure.
100 basis point in this calendar year so far.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all that, so that clearly shows that the
Hmm.
policymakers' agenda was essentially to improve consumption, and we believe that from the second half of this year, it
Hmm.
will start showing up in the numbers. So if you look at the estimates over the next, I would say 1.5 years, that
Hmm.
looks much better compared to what we have witnessed over the last 12 months. So
Hmm.
26, I think there will be growth compared to the previous year, and
Okay.
27 or 26, I
Hmm.
think the growth will accelerate from what we will see in 26. So when I look ahead, I think the
Hmm.
earnings picture looks far better than what we have witnessed over the last 12, 15 months.
Right. Well, that's good news for investors and the markets per se. But there was this one topic that we were discussing earlier in the conversation, that was FIIs. Now, FIIs seem to be sort of selling in a hurry, and it looks like there are two strong trends running on D Street, and one is fear for FIIs and FOMO for DIIs. But money has been pouring into primary markets compared to secondary markets. Do you see this as a concern, or just part of a market cycle?
I think it's a part of the market cycle. In fact, from April, after President Trump's big announcement on tariffs,
Sure.
global emerging markets, in fact, started receiving money. Uh,
Hmm.
and as I was mentioning earlier, April, May, June, if you go and check the data, even India received small FII inflows
Hmm.
after a period of big selling. Unfortunately, July, August, September, the mood soured because of the uh, nasty surprise that came on the trade deal front.
Sure.
If you
Right.
recall, it appeared that India was actually ahead of most other countries,
Mm-hmm.
for signing the bilateral trade deal, and then we
Right.
suddenly had that, for whatever reason, the nasty surprise. So that has been a problem. FII money is still going into other countries,
Yes, that's
Korea,
right. Mm,
Taiwan, and now particularly China.
mm,
So our expectation is that as and when this bilateral trade deal issue,
mm,
even if in a modest form, if that
mm.
is sorted out, uh,
Right.
and as the earnings start to go up,
Mm,
as I said, second half we expect earnings to start to move up. I think
mm,
that will probably result in FII money coming back into the Indian market.
mm,
And as you rightly pointed out, that although they are selling in the secondary market, they are
mm,
putting money in the primary market.
mm.
So it's not that they have given up on India. Uh,
No, no, it's good.
it's just that I think valuation itself is not a reason why they are not coming here. What they want to see is growth, and I believe from second half you will start seeing growth.
Absolutely. Well, growth seems to come in the second half. Well, that was Harshad Patwardhan sharing his perspective on India's equity markets, from interest rates and IT sector sentiment to earnings, FI, DI flows, and festive trends. Well, thank you, Harshad, for joining us on ET Markets Smart Talk. And to our listeners, stay tuned for more expert insight. Thank you so much for your time, Harshad.
Thanks, Shirish. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye bye.